Hi there everyone. Today I'll be going over just some test hands and kind of general gameplay with the Op08 Marco Leader. See, right now he is my kind of pet death that I've been practicing the most with. I have him more built in a Whitebeard package focus. If you've seen my previous video going over the deck profile, we're going to be testing pretty much the same thing. I just added in one more Monet and took out a Josu. Let's see. While I do like the Josu for a lot of the matchups, it being a 6-toss kind of fits in weird to our curve. We really like our 5-toss with the blue and red ace, and then having that Shredon is normally used for leader ability. And as you'll see, hopefully in just some test hands and gold fishing here on what that's going to look like. So here got my ace Don right here, trying to just fade into the whole theme of it. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's see. And then with Marco, we normally like to go second leader. Depends on the other matchups. So we have an Otama. I'll put this to the side. We have an Otama, another Otama, a Thatch, a Namul, and an Ace. So pretty good curve. Better curve going first, I'd say. And so let's just practice with that matchup. Say if our opponent needs to go second for a reason, maybe he's a green yellow law that just refers to or something like that. So we have our 4 life up there. We have our 5-card hand going first. So here, I'll put my hand kind of on the side right here just so we can all see it. And then we will get 1 Dawn. And then also with nothing to play, a cool thing you can do with this leader is just use his ability right away. You attach 1 Dawn to him, use his ability, you draw a card. And then we put one on the top of the bottom. Getting the Ezo Searcher is nice. You'd think, you want to search. But honestly, with our hand right now, we have a 4-toss Thatch. We have the Namul, which is a reason why we kept this hand. We really want to play this on our second turn, as it'll let us curve perfectly into this ace right here. So even though I do like this Ezo, I'm going to put it on the bottom of the deck with my leader ability. As I don't need to draw next turn. And that's a big thing with Marco's playability and the kind of decisions you need to make when playing the deck, is you have to think about future turns, not just your current turn. Yes, Ezo's a great card. It didn't search almost anything in this deck, but we don't need him, and that's a very important thing. So then we go to our second turn. Opponent could play something, could not. Doesn't really matter for just our gold fishing. We are 2, and then we draw 7-toss beard. And so if we put the Ezo on top, this would have been the Ezo, which we shouldn't have played. Now we have this information. Now we have a good high end that we want to go into. This in rotation with the Otamas can KO almost anything that our opponents would give it us. So we will use these 3, and then we want to play the Namul. Obviously, it would be smart to attack with lead first and then play him, just in case of any triggers or anything, but just to show off kind of ideas of the set, I'm just going to play him right away. He has the on play to draw 2 cards and then put 2 from your hand on the top or bottom of your deck in any order. May not seem like the best value, but when we really combine it, and the big thing we're trying to do here is with this 5-tossed ace, has the on-play reveal the top card of your deck and play 1 character with a tie between Whitebeard Pirates with a toss of 4 or less. Put the rest on the bottom if we'd like to. So normally going first with our curve, we won't have enough Dawn to use leader ability to put something on top and then play this ace. We'd have to wait to our 7 Dawn turn, and it's just much better to play like a new date or a 7-toss ace. However, if we are forced to go first, this Namul really helps us out. We use on play. We draw 2 cards. Not that Divine Departure really helps in Bonnie matchup. So we got this. We have to put 2 on top or bottom. Obviously, I want to be able to put this Thatch on the top into where next turn on my 5 Dawn, I can just play 5 and cheat him out with this ace. So I'm going to put him on top first, because the idea of this is, and so normally these cards would have face on, I'm going to keep them up just so we can see them together as a video and kind of see the idea of it. Thatch is on top. Then we have to put another card on top too. I like putting stuff like the New Date or the Divine Departure, stuff without counter on top. Because I know almost no matter what, I will draw it next turn. There are very old cards in the game that can actually interact with the top of your opponent's deck, and especially in a meaningful way. So now I know these 2 are on top. And the way I set them in this order is I know next turn, I'll draw this New Date for my turn, And then I can play out the ace. So here we'll just go through. We'll say my opponent attacks. I can give up the Nimble blocker, and then say we counter out of it with a 2-Tate Josu. Now, especially if they're playing a rush variant, forward on, you know, Zora, or something like that. Then, so we go to our next turn. We go up to 5 Dawn here. We draw this new date for turn. Still a very good card. But now, on 5 Dawn, without having to set up a leader ability, we can play the ace for 5. We would then reveal the top of the deck. It is this Thatch. Play the Thatch for free. We now got a 6K body, a 5K body, and we have our leader. And this just costed 5 Dawn to really get to. Important abilities here. Here, I'm trying to zoom in a bit for us to see a bit better. Important abilities that we have here is the Thatch. Very interesting card. I've only ever tested him in the Whitebeard version. I think he's one of the best cards just in blue generically. He has, if he'd be removed from the field by your opponent's effect or KO'd, trash him and draw a card. So we do still lose him no matter what in those scenarios. But say it goes to our opponent's turn. We're playing against black or something, and they decide to kill Thatch. Cool. We don't really care about this. We will let him die because we just have to draw a card as a replacement. This helps us find more counter and Ezo to search out rushers like Ace or some of our very important things. Just like the draw ability with it is insanely good. And so that's just, here, I'm trying to reshuffle. That's just generically one of the better combos that this deck could do. Obviously, we didn't, fully play out to our final Dawn there. So, we're just goldfishing hands, trying to just show you what this deck does. Here, life was Blocker Marco Monet. Recently went up to 4, testing out the ratio, see if I like it. A Chopper Blocker, and then a Rayleigh. And so, yeah. Ideas with keeping hands in this deck, a very important thing to talk about when you goldfish strategies. Let's see here, I'll put that on the side just so we can see the leader if we'd like to. It did take me a while when I first started this leader to really think what hands I really, really want to keep. And honestly, depends if I'm going first or second, Say we roll some dice, right? Have this little green one right here. Roll it. We got 2. Really low number. Say we lose, our opponent wants to go first. It's like purple Luffy or something that really needs that curve. And so here. Shuffle, and then we'll get Otama, Ace, Ezo, Namul, and a Josu. So this is an interesting hand to try and think about curve-wise. We're going second, so we'd be on the 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 curve. So, I'm trying to get these all kind of separated. Otama, I think early game is perfect 2K to waste. Depending on your matchup, you're playing an opponent who's very board present heavy. They like to spam a lot of bodies on the field, attack you aggro wise. Otama, you don't really want to use as a counter. You need it late game for your Silver's Rayleigh and stuff to try and get stuff down. However, if it's not really that matchup, I'd say just use as a counter. Don't really worry about it. Let's see, the Namul and the Ace. We did see how this was a good combo in the first hand we did. However, important thing is going second. We could still play the Namul. So here, we're trying to talk about like this. I'll bring the Dawn out just to have a visual representation of it. So here, first turn, we use leader ability, whatever. We would play the Ezo normally, but kind of showing the Namul thing. Then here. So what we do on our turn 2, instead of just playing the Namul, is playing the Namul and then attaching one to lead to use the lead ability to then draw something and put it on the top of the line. I'm just gonna switch out these arts really fast. Gotta respect the all art right here. That's a very important thing we can do. But then looking more forward into our turn 3, which is when it really matters, is if we didn't have this Namul, say this was just a random card, we could then play this Ace, but before that, attach one to our lead to use his effect. We'll say we know this is the Ace card. So draw, it's a Thatch. We'll just put that one back on top, play the Ace, boom, cheat out the Thatch kind of thing. And so that is the thing why we do like going second better. We can have access to this ace more. So would I keep this hand going second? I think depends against other matchups, but as we're looking at it, we have a 2-K counter, then the rest are 1Ks. Namul is a blocker, kind of important, really good for the card value of drawing 2 and playing 2 on the top room, but I don't really like Josu right now. Josu, I've debated Titan fully. I only run him 1 right now in the deck. However, this Izo, really a game changer in this hand. Because going second, here, let's play out this hand just to kind of see how it would go. So we got our 4 life. So, you know, would have killed for this to be a 5 life leader. I know it doesn't make sense rules-wise. He'd be broken, but being 4 life right now is insane. So we get 2, right? We'd use 1 for the Izo. Izo, top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get any Whitebeard Pirates type here. So our choices are between the Thatch or the Ace. Again, searching, you know, just gotta look at your hand, right? You gotta look at your hand, think, okay, I have an ace that can cheat out smaller bodies. And then we do have a smaller body right here. However, we do have the Namul, which can find us more stuff. And you also have to know your deck list here. I run 3 Thatches, debating going up to 4 and taking out the other Chozu. I only run 2 of this ace. So the chances of me taking this ace into my hand for later in the game, maybe if my opponent plays a lot of blockers and I need a rush like this to lower power, will be a lot more important to my game plan versus taking this 4 toss. Well, yes, he is good to cheat out with this ace, but that's 2 turns from now. Especially after we get a draw with Namul, if we choose to do that next turn, it will just be smarter to get the ace into our hand. So we'll put him with everything else down here. And then, because we're going second, we can use lead ability to draw a card. Look, it's another ace. And then, with this deck, we really do not need multiple of them. You could make the option to put the Josu on the bottom and keep both aces for a tempo play. You could. I'd say, because we only run 1 Josu, run 4 of this guy. Obviously, some can be in our life, but we don't need to see 2 of them. It's a very important thing about this deck. Yes, 1 is almost game determinative with the value you get from it, but you do not need 2 to win, though it is very helpful. So then we go to our opponent, they'll attack us. Kind of up or down if you want to take your first life. Again, very match dependent. I normally like taking the first life, you know, it helps with the Marco blockers later in the game, we have to see what it is, and there's a Thatch. See, that's why I like running more of him, better chance to him out of life and stuff, and turned out best for us. Next turn, we'll get our 2 Donbat, trying to organize it. A bit of an organization freak sometimes with the arts. You know, we'll get a card right here. Lucky me, I got another ace. And so, what I do here is do 3 for Namul, right? I said this in the profile, but this is just good curve. We do draw the 2. Marco blocker, another Otama. Great cards to draw here. Because now, here, I'm trying to organize my hand a little bit if we can see this. So we have a lot of plays here. We have 2 1Ks with our 2 Otamas. These are staying in our hand no matter what. We're never putting them on the top or bottom. So even if we're not really focused on that power matchup, it's a 2K counter. Insanely important. Then we have our 2 7-drop rushers, which, while not being the most important thing in this deck, they're crazy. Obviously, being able to cheat them out with a 9-toss Sanju in the game, good. We have 2 targets to cheat off of the ace. We either have this Thatch if we want to be more aggressive, or we have this Marco if we want to be more defensive. You know, it's kind of why these 2, I run 3 of each. They're each in their own matchup. Marco is great into aggro. He can protect us, bring himself back. This Thatch, also really good into being aggro ourselves. We can attack them, then by the time our opponent removes him, we have to draw a card with him instead. Draw us into counter, draw us into plays for next turn. Very good. And so in this scenario where we have to put 2 on the top or the bottom, I would honestly, and here's the thing with being able to use lead ability to look ahead in a way, I would put Hard to say, really. But I would put this thatch first. Here, keep them face up again just for the demonstration of the video. And I'd put this Josu on there. I don't think we need that Josu personally. Personally, I'd rather keep this in. It's weird, not a lot of counter. We do have the Namu Watcher. Then, as we are going second, which is our perfect curve, right? Put one on the lead. Use lead ability. We draw this card. We don't want him in our rotation. We put him on the bottom. That way we know we'd still be getting the thatch that we thought we were getting next turn, but we also have this chance of this random card. And because next turn we're planning to play the ace while we will be at sits on, we'll have it on to use lead ability again to get even more information. It is one of the best parts about Marco, just the information getting. Then, you know, we'd swing in with him. If they had a block, we would give them -2,000 power with his ability. Great. Pass back to us. Say opponent's leader chats us. We do kind of want to counter out of this one. I would say, let's see, you know, look at our hand of counter, right? We can give up one of the automas. We don't need both. Automaton. Unless our opponent's super aggro, I doubt there's something that's going to threaten our life for 3 Dawn. So then we can untap. We get 2 back. Perfect. And then we draw that thatch that we knew was on there. So you gotta remember what you put on top. So then, gonna put 1 on lead before we do anything. Use lead ability. Draw a card. It's a Divine Departure. Oh, look at that foiling. All right, now we have a choice. Do we want to put the thatch on top or the Marco on top? I'd say, since I did thatch just last practice jam, let's put Marco on top. See how that goes. So Marco, obviously, would be face down, keeping him face up for the audience. You know, you guys can kind of see what it looks like. Then go 5, play the ace, trying to move our life so I have room to play him, play the Marco. And now we have 2 blockers, one of them just a chump, but then the other one can bring himself back once we lose 1 more life, which is a great tempo play. Then our hand, we don't have that much counter, honestly. Not a lot. Kind of okay, though. You know, we swing for sits this turn, whatever. Next turn, they attacked us. Give a no-mole blocker. Cool. I'm okay with that. You know, we decided we didn't need the thatch. Give them as a counter. You know, why not? Say if they attack one more time, we take the life. Go down to 2. It's another no-mole. See, the chance of us hitting a blocker like that is high in this deck. We do run a good amount. But then, now that we have the Marco threshold, we can bring him back. He can kind of block twice if you think about him as his pseudo-blocker-ish, just the way he comes back. We had 2 more Dawn. Oh, all of my Dawn is flipped upside down. Pretty normal. And now we are at 8 Dawn. Draw for turn. Another ace. So, one of my more favorite things this deck can do. Attach 1 to lead. Use lead effect. We draw. Oh, love this new date right here. Alright, so we draw the new date. Let's put the Namul on top, you know? You might think, why are we doing that? Why wouldn't we put something with no counter, maybe bottom it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can use a card that we just drew, the other ace. So we're going to play that ace right there. On play. Cheat out the Namul. Namul on play to then draw 2. And look, this found us our Sanji's. We need this for Net's turn. Has now Net's turn. We in Sanji into New Date. Sanji into Ace. It's a great value. We do have too much on counter. We only need 1 Divine Departure. Put this on the bottom. And then we're thinking, what else can we put on the bottom? What else do we need to survive? Put one of these aces at the bottom. We don't need both, since we found stuff like the New Date and the Divine Departure. Obviously, depend on your matchup. Maybe some matchups, New Date doesn't matter, you know? And you'd much rather have just a 7K power rush. And then, so that goes there. We can attach with whatever. We still have 2 Dawn left. We can do whatever we want with. Hell, we can even, you know, attach 1, swing 7, swing 6. Then leave 1 up for a 3K counter, you know? Not kind of the idea with Marco. And then, I know, obviously, this isn't the most realistic thing, but just if we pretended like nothing happened with that, if we do go to our 10 Dawn, kind of showing what this deck does here, kind of just move all my characters out of the way just to really show you why this deck's late game is extremely strong. Here, draw a card. Doesn't really matter what we draw. Another 2 counter is amazing. Here, put 1 on lead. Use the lead ability. Draw a card. And now look, guys. So we have 9 Dawn left, right? So we're going to play the Sanji. Sanji, on play, can play any 9-cost or lower character other than a Sanji. Very important. All of our characters are 9-cost or lower. So we can see out everything but the other copies of themselves that we run. But our big ones are Silver's Rayleigh, New Date, Ace. So right now in this scenario, on our 10 Dawn turn, we have to think about which one do we need. Do we want aggro with the Rush Ace? Do we want to bring our leader up a bit more power, make him a 7K leader on the opponent's turn, then have the ability to KO something next turn when this character attacks? Or do we need to board clear? You know, put the Rayleigh there, play the Rayleigh, KO a bunch of people. And we really, that's something I like about this deck. We have so many options. And I love just, you know, playing Sanji, putting Ace on top when they didn't expect it. When we play the Sanji, you play the Ace, -2 things by 3, swing a 7, and swing a 6. And, like, that just feels so good. So that's kind of like our going second game plan. We have very, very good curves and just game plans for any number of Dawn going second. Going first is when it has weird and look. We had another Marco and Thatch in life. I'm telling you guys, those cards, bread and butter of the deck along with that 5-drop Ace. Until we can afford to do the 9-drop Sanji, that Ace can cheat out so many good cards from our deck. And then here, just kind of going over some more like ideas of the deck. There have been times before when I have 8 Dawn and I don't have anything to play, I just need 5. Play 2 blockers. One of them's 6K power blocker, other one can return, and it just helps. Like, even if I let them both die, it doesn't really matter, because, yeah, I spent my 8 Dawn turn, but I survived 2 life for it, which should never be, you know, talked down upon. Let's see. I know if you guys haven't watched it, especially this video the whole way, and also the last full deck profile I did on Marco, I mentioned how Divine Departure is like our best card for the Bonnie matchup. If you don't know what I mean by that, its first ability to main rest 5 more Dawn, KO someone with a power of 8,000 or less, automatically hits the kid, which feels so needed. Getting over that kid can be insanely hard sometimes. Divine Departure helps that. And I'm sure some of you are asking, what about the Tashigis and stuff like that? Honestly, that's what this tries for right here. The 7-drop it. New Date here. Let's try and find the nice looking art. Well, so much want more of those arts, but they are expensive. This guy can pop a 5K or lower every single turn. Play against Bonnie, kill a Tashigi. You know, save him as he's an AK next turn. Kill a Tashigi. Kill a Rosinante blocker, 2 cost. Anything like that. Then, you know, Divine Departure, the big Ace. Boom. We tweeted the board. If we play him on a separate turn, we tweeted the board for 6 Dawn, guys. Like, maybe we need to put 1 on lead to lower someone's power. Yeah, we tweeted the board for 7 Dawn. That is not bad at all. That is really, especially for a deck that is not blacked, and mainly not playing that 4-cost Lutzi, to be able to tail multiple characters at once. I think it's underrated, honestly. So here, let's do one more practice hand before the video ends today. Let's see, shuffle and all that. Good. See, also if you're watching, you can tell the kind of what I did with my Dawn. I did try and get all the arts to fairly match up here. If you can guess what kind of theme I went with that. I love that comment. Do it at heart, whatever you need. I think that'd just be so fun to kind of look into it. And then, brought a whole pile of cards right here, guys. Gotta shuffle those in. That happens sometimes. Player passing, you know, no harm, no foul with it. Let's see. A bit of history about the game. This leader's reason I got into the game. I used to play Magic a lot. was in love with Commander. No other format, really. Looked at One Piece, Marco being my favorite leader, immediately fell in love with him. Love the gameplay loop, love the strategy that goes behind it, stopping top, stopping the bottom of the deck, putting power, and then no time. C4, we do anything? Roll dice. We'll say evens, we go first, odds, we go second. Just trying to see, what our opponent would choose if we lost. It's odds, so we're going second. We do like that curve. All right, and so we got a Thatch, Chopper, Newgate, Ace, and the Marco. Interesting hand right here. No early game, like turn 1. Turn 2, we can really get cooked in with the Thatch or the Marco blocker. I think I'll keep it, just trying to see how it plays out. If this was an event, I'd probably think more on it, but I'm just trying to do some practice hands with the video, you gotta test out the deck before you know all the tricks to it. So, we got our stuff. Opponent does their thing, boom, 2 Don, 1 on lead. If we can draw an Ezo off of this right now, it'd be beautiful. What can I say? We're just the best that ever lived. I mean, that's awesome. Think about what to put bat here. I'd say let's put the Marco blocker back. We have a chance of finding him again, and so you can go onto the bottom of the deck, good sir. Then tap 1 and play the Ezo. If Ezo can find a sudden mule here, perfect. If not, understandable. Let's see. Oh, nice hand right here. We can go on the more counter route with this ace, and I think we will not do that. I want to go with the 7 cost one. The main reason behind that play is we don't have the most power lowering effects in hand right now. We always obviously have the Marco Leader to minus something like 2K, but way later in the game, if we need to use this new date to KO a 5K or less power character, and we just can't, this can help. Lower something by 3, lower something by 5, that's a 10K, especially without anything else. All right, opponent will do their turn. Again, I like taking the first life, just personally. No trigger, but it's another Thatch. We know we don't always need to. So let's try to go here. We're going to go up to 4 Dawn here. All right, and then we will draw for turn. Another ace. Pretty funny. So in this scenario, well, you guys think, what would you do with this hand? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in hand. Pretty good. I know some of you are already thinking, can I just put 1 on lead, pass this turn if we have to? Next turn, ace into a Thatch. Turn after, ace into another Thatch, which is good tempo-wise. Obviously no big fault about that. Especially when you think about it, just hypothetically, attach 1 to lead, uses a vet. He's now 6K swing, then we have a 5K swing where we need to go, which would be nuts, Obviously, that idea is probably what I would go with. If you wanted to be just the slightest bit more greedy, should play Thatch this turn. Next turn, you can attack. Obviously, do the ace and the Thatch and then hope we see another cheater for ace. If nice 1K counter. So let's try that method out. Play the Thatch. All good. And then pass. The opponent goes. Give up a 2K. Boom. Perfect. Put him in the trash. He's over there. All right, our next turn. We will get 2 Dawn. Oh. Slippery. And then we will draw. So Jozu. 2K counter. Favorite 2K counter in the deck because it's searchable. All right, put 1 of the Dawn cards on the lead. Svet, draw card. I don't know how we've seen that 1 Divine Departure every single game. Shuffling skills top notch, I guess. All right, then we'll play that ace after putting the Thatch back on top. Ace into the Thatch. And then we swing sits and look at our board. This is turn 3, and we have 3 really good swings, and we can attach 1 to make a 4th good swing. So yeah, probably gonna cap off the video here. Just wanted to show you guys some ideas with Marco. I'll probably be doing a lot of videos with him moving forward. You know, I'm trying to start this channel up, get it to be big. You know, hopefully one day meet Eggman and all the cool One Piece people, go to more events. But until then, hope you like my content that I've been starting here. Subscribe, like, follow, you know, all the things if you want to. No pressure. I'm just a guy making One Piece content because he loves the game. And he loves the characters and the anime and all that. Let's see, if we want more Marco content, cool. I also experiment with some other decks. White, purple, black chain, yellow, green, purple limb, green, yellow law, just a bunch of different fun stuff. And so, might do some deck profiles of them shortly. See kind of how I feel with that. And I will see you all later. Have a great rest of your day.